Welcome, my friends. What a day. What a week it's been in Cleveland. What a week it's been in Ohio. But I'd like to just welcome you. And do you know this is the Following the Signs radio broadcast, and we're broadcasting live from KAZ. And we're having a day of it today. And we're welcoming you, and we're glad that you could participate with us. It's been a heck of a week, and we'd like to start off this week, well, actually, start off this show with a prayer because this city needs it. This country needs it. So I'm going to turn it over to one of my two guest hosts, Miss Benita Armistead.
Hello. How you
Yes.
guys doing tonight? Hi.
And Miss Arnessa Hopkins. Okay.
Hello.
All right. So seriously, we're proud to be here, and we're glad that you allowed us to come into your living rooms. And if you'd like to say this prayer following Miss Benita, we would appreciate it. So I'll turn it over to Miss Benita.
Yep, I'd like for you guys to repeat after me if you like, please. And today is our prayers. Oh God, bless our hearts and bodies and minds. For we have you to look after us. Even though we have sinned, we share our hearts and souls with you. We ask that you help keep us focused on you and be faithful and true. But please combine our mind and hearts together when we say our prayers to you. Thank you, Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. So what you just heard was just a voice. A voice, it could have been in the night, a voice that could have been in the day, or a voice that could have come from heaven. It doesn't matter whose voice it is. It could be even the voice of a paper boy. But every voice is important. And anyone out there who at the sound of my voice feels that their voice is not important, I'm here to assure you that it is. And anyone out here that would like to get in the way of even the most minute voice or the loudest roar of a voice, I only have two things I'd like you to remember. I need you to take this at heart because these words are coming directly from my heart. Move out of the way because here we come. Following the Signs is here, and we're going to bring you a dynamite show today. Like I say again, I got these two beautiful people here with me, and we're going to start off today by talking about something real simple, which is police interactions. Something about police interactions in our community, and I think it's important that we realize that there is an anxiety that leads to that. It's an anxiety that can build, it's an anxiety that can destroy. But the important thing that it does exist, and we need to recognize it. It is true that it exists. It also exists in animals. I go that far as to say, sometimes you may see a cop car go down the street and a dog will pull off, start running. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So they even know. They even know. So it does exist in men and women. Anytime you deal with law enforcement, what we're advocating, what we're saying is that there is an anxiety that takes place. And the way you handle that anxiety is what we're here to talk about today. First, we'd like to acknowledge that it does exist. It exists in men and women. It exists in rich, poor, black, white, old, young, cooperative or not, complainant or not, submissive or not. These anxieties occur in one reason or another for everyone. Whenever we encounter law enforcement, these anxieties comes over many causes. Can you follow what I mean here? I'm sure you ladies understand, being women, that there's been complications with police pulling women over as far as searches are concerned. I don't know if you would let a man search you, Miss Arnessa. I mean, if I guess if the cop asks you to put your hands up in the air, and he's not going to say party like you just don't care. So, has that ever happened to you? I know you live in a gated community, but...
No, that hasn't happened to me.
No? Never? Okay.
No. I'll pay the rules.
You sound like you have a lot of police friends.
Maybe to her, I don't know, or not to me. It hasn't. Never happened to me.
Never. Okay. Has it ever happened to you, Miss Benita?
Well, probably yes, and I could say yes. And then I got some other things that I've got from some older seniors and 40-year-olds and 20-year-olds and stuff, suggestions that they would have to, or questions and answers that from them, too, just as well, to answer their questions or this question, period.
So let me just slow this down just a little bit, because I don't want anyone to take the wrong impression that we're trying to bash the men in blue. We got a very, very high respect for these guys. They have an almost impossible job to do, but yet we also have an impossible job to do too. We have to live under this type of guys. We have to live under this type of authority, and that's very important too. We have to realize that one of the most important things that we have to realize is whenever we run into a police interaction, what helps judge that interaction is our ability to know a little bit about the law. We need to know some things that would help us to get along and to decrease the amount of anxiety between the officer and you. So it's good to know a little about the law. I think that's very important.
That's true.
That's true.
See, I'm not sure whether we understand what we're talking about here. We're talking about mental health. The police are responsible for our mental health and our physical health. And unless we can put them in the proper perspective to balance the two, we're going to have a situation where we're not going to understand or cooperate. Not just cooperate with our neighbors, but cooperate with the mindset that we know is right for us. Okay? You can easily get in a situation where you can get executed by a cop. Or what they call that, death by cop?
Something like that.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's something that we need to look out for. So let me ask you a question. Why is it that police experience anxieties when they get pulled over?
You said why the police or
Policemen
people?
or people?
I'm sure they get them anxieties too.
Oh, I'm sure they have adrenaline be gone.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, fear, all that good stuff.
And worried about what's going to happen to them too as well.
So you have to realize they have families. Yes, they have families. So there's anxieties on both ends. So we're going to talk about some of the ways that we can decrease that anxiety to make it a little easier and make it more easy to cooperate. Because you're under the guise of cooperation whenever the police pull you over. The number one you have to realize is that I need to cooperate, okay? Because they have the authority.
What's that say? Shh. Word.
So do you
Say
think?
no.
Let me ask you a question. Because I might be getting off here. So do you think? What do you think is the most important perspective as citizens or in a community we should think of when we see the police? What would be the most important aspect we need to think of?
To be safe.
Their safety, right?
Yeah.
Their safety and our safety.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the number one obstacle. So how do we know when we're in a situation where we have anxieties with police stops? Because some of us ride with people and they don't realize when they get in the car, the driver doesn't realize that this person may have anxieties that deal with policemen. You know, like for instance, you could be sitting on your porch and two police cars zoom by you doing 80 miles an hour. Okay. Now at that point, you know, there's an anxiety that takes over you. You might feel that you don't want to get in the car and go anywhere right now. You might turn around and scream at your child. You might not understand what this cop is doing, speeding through your community like
Or
that.
you might
And you
jump
right.
off the porch and go be nosy and see what they're doing.
Yeah. You might be like, what's going on? Something going
Go be
on.
nosy.
Okay, well, I mean, there's people that do that, and there's
Of
people that
course.
get away with doing it. You know.
True.
Okay. So, but there's an anxiety that happens with that. Now, I don't know how you feel when you see the police racing past your house like that.
I'm like, shoo. I want to be nosy. I'm definitely going to go see. That's me. I am.
I don't want to see. I'm minding my business.
I'm nosy. I'm going to go check. I want to see what's surrounding my surroundings.
That's true. Now, as a
It
citizen,
could
you
be
also
one
have
of
a
my family
responsibility.
members or something like that. So
It could be
definitely I'm gonna
anybody.
check.
Yeah, it could be somebody laying in the street. You know, but we have a responsibility to see too, because our eyes are a part of the policeman's eyes. You know, if they have any questions, if they need to know some information, they're going to come and ask us about it. So, what about it when someone gets in your car that has anxieties when it comes to police stops? You know, one of the symptoms would be.
They'll never get in there again.
Okay. So, one of the symptoms would be nervousness when riding in your car.
Yeah. Hyperventilating.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Yep.
Yeah, I guess. Anger.
Anger. Yeah.
Stress.
Stress.
Overwhelmed. Stress. Of being stressed.
Yep. Yeah, dominance,
Yeah.
Yeah.
obsession,
Yeah, that too.
depression.
Yeah.
Man, this list goes on and on.
Possession.
Yeah, yeah, possession, narcotics. No, I'm
There
just
you go.
kidding.
The whole
Yeah,
shebang,
yeah. It's very, it's a serious thing, because they are afraid of uncertainties that can happen when there's a lack of reality. When you have a lack of
or lack of
yeah,
communication.
communication.
As well, too.
Yeah. So another one would be high.
Oh, jeez.
No, let it out.
Okay, here we go. Jumpy. They're jumpy when they ride with you. You know,
Okay.
they don't sit still.
Yeah.
They're hopping, jumping, they're looking around. You ask them, what's wrong? They'll say nothing. But it's it's the cause of the police. Nothing else can bring as much fear to a person unless they're in the ocean and they're around sharks than if they're in a car and they're around police. Okay? So yeah, that's a meaningful thing. So another thing too, people may not want to ride in the front seat.
True.
Because of the police problems, they feel like they want to ride in the back
And
seat.
I know another thing because my sister, she used to drive with me, ride with me, and she couldn't stand to ride with trucks and stuff riding on the side of us. She would like be way over my seat, hold my knee and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, wait a minute now, hold on.
That's something.
That's scary though, for real. Now that I think about it, because I understand how she feels.
It is. But a lot of people like to ride in the back seat because they don't want to be questioned by the police if the car gets pulled over.
Yeah.
So you can always tell a person that has these type of anxieties. They're jumpy. They don't want to ride in the front seat. They want you to lay all the windows up. Don't let the windows down. You just
Yeah.
can't wait to get them to their destination.
You're right.
That's the
Speed
truth.
a little bit more.
You know, they always want to check the condition of your car,
Yeah.
because they know that if the car breaks down, the police are going to pull up.
Yeah.
And they
More
can't
than
stand a
likely,
talking
yeah.
to,
More
let
than
alone a pullover or a check.
That's
So
true.
that's another problem. We've got to look at these things and say, well, these people have an anxiety, which you might not have been aware of.
And
They're all okay.
And where did they come up with the police check stuff? What do they call that?
Check,
Yeah, police check stuff.
checkpoint.
Checkpoints.
Yeah, checkpoints. Right. Where do they come up with that at?
I don't know, something about pulling people over that's may have committed some type of crime or something to that effect.
Really?
Checkpoints that's
Right.
another one.
Okay.
You know, another anxiety people have when they have this thing with policemen is they are always aware of where the policemen are. You know, they always want to tap you. There's a police over there. No, we don't be no police. There's a
I'd be
police.
like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Yep, that's me.
There's a cop behind us. They're always aware of the police. So these people have anxiety, serious anxieties.
Yes, they do.
And then there's another one too. Listen, I'm gonna stop here. But there's times when you want to go to a certain place, and the people will say, no, I'll meet you there.
And don't show up.
I'll
Get
drive.
outta here, really.
Yeah. No, don't show up. But they're afraid to get in the car because they're afraid that the car is going to get pulled over.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we may find that there's this person who just is a reckless driver, drives at top speeds.
Okay.
Don't stop at lights. So there's an anxiety that happens with us too.
Yeah.
So there's a guy that said this a long time ago, and I think it applies when it comes to the police stops. And I think what he said is that whenever the police stops you, you have to remember that the only thing you have to fear is fear itself. I sense that when the police get behind us, the first thing a person would do is to become fearful. Knowing that that's going to be the attack that hits you, that's what you have to be conscious of. That's the fear that you have to fear, is that you're going to be engulfed by fear. And so you're going to push off from the top. Push off that fear from the top. If you know a little bit about where you are, that's a pretty good help too. Especially when a cop stops you. Because you have to understand, well, in our community, I don't know if you guys know this, but in our community, when we get stopped by a cop, it's not just one emotion that takes over. It's a collage of emotions that take over. And so when the police stopped you, what happened with you?
Nothing.
So how many police do you know? This is a pretty bad topic for you, isn't it? Good God.
Yes.
So you know what you need. You need to ride in a police car and let them
Well,
you
I've got
turn
a
the
warning
lights
before.
on.
I've gotten a ticket before, but I wasn't
So how did you
scared.
feel when you got the ticket?
I said, "Oh,
So how was your
Okay.
mugshot? Did you
no, I didn't get a mugshot.
what?
No,
Oh,
but I've gotten a warning because I've driven past the speed limit, but I haven't had any bad interactions."
okay,
That's
that's
good.
fine. So
That's
you have
good.
no. So okay, let's see. Let's run a rough case scenario. So you're driving down the street, right? Cops pull up behind you, turn their lights on, woo, 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 and tell you
That's
pull over, pull
embarrassing.
over. No anxiety hits you at that point.
I just hope that I'm not getting a ticket. I'm not getting cited.
So you have fear of getting cited.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. You're human. Welcome to the human race. Anyone who does anything like her, I'm going to ask you two things too. Move over. Let our Nessa by. You know, we all have Alexa, and Alexa always tells us information. Alexa always gives us things to do. So we don't have Alexa. What we have is Xavier. So
Hi, uh-oh. You messed up now.
Xavier lost her
See
ball.
you, Xavier. Sting.
It went bye-bye. Bye-bye.
That's all right. It's all good. It'll be okay. So I like to read this to
Touching,
you.
huh?
So we have been. Dang, Xavier, you know I got to get you back together.
sure
Okay,
have.
so we have been talking about our lavender project for quite some time now. We want we want more than ever to produce fresh lavender, infuse it in specific products,
Smells so good.
and pass the products out for free in our community. Our knowledge of the effect of inhaling and applying lavender to the skin makes a notable decrease in anxieties, moods, and a whole lot more. So we are asking for help in the form of gardening tools, any spades, gardening tools that you can share with us. We'd like you to drop them off at Lucky's Charms and Supplies. Just any type of donation will help. We're really in the process right now of getting this lavender in the ground and watching it grow and be excited about it. So so we're talking about the things that we could do now that can make a confrontation with the police a little bit more manageable. Let me ask you this. Did you know
awareness.
that we're talking about a police interaction? Do you understand and do you know that millions of people had an anxiety attack when they saw Donald Trump getting indicted? Do they understand that the police interaction of
They probably
Oh,
did.
boy.
Donald Trump, I mean, the look on his face and dealing with the cops, people had a reaction like it was them. Let me explain. It's people that wanted to go outside and play, and they told them, get your butt back in here. You ain't going nowhere. Just because of this.
Really?
Yeah, they told their husband, you couldn't go
haven't
to the
heard that.
bar. I mean, this went on and on.
Oh.
There were politicians that had a fizzy fit because of this. So you also have to realize that there's a trickle-down effect to that. So let me ask you a question. How did you feel when you looked on television and saw the law enforcement behind Donald Trump like that?
I'm like, oh, he's going to jail.
I turned my TV.
Okay, well, I sympathize. I empathized with him. If anyone has ever been in that position before, being indicted, it is not a comfortable feeling. I think that when you're indicted, I think everyone who's ever been indicted feels the same way. There's a sense of hopelessness there. There's a sense of an anxiety of fear,
Yeah.
of uncertainty, of willingness to cooperate, but yet don't feel like they're being treated fairly.
So yeah, that question is, what did I do?
Yeah.
first?
Yeah, what
And
did
then
I do?
What did I do? And all the
Right.
rest of the little millions of things that go on through your head.
True.
The
And I had
first
some
one is
friends that called me that were in jail at the time. They were watching it on TV. And yeah, because they were, already there. And what they came to me with was the injustice in the law system, that something that is as old as this, they indict on. Well, they say they can indict a ham sandwich, but, these people in prison felt an anxiety, from him. And it's hard to feel a double anxiety. How are you going to feel more sorry for another person than you will for yourself if both of you were in the same situation?
Yeah.
So how did you feel, Arnessa?
About them doing that to him?
Yes.
I saw it and then I turned my TV because I have more important things to do with my time. I
About
do.
somebody else's business. Huh?
Yeah. Instead of watching that because I know it's going to be on repeat. It was on some people's mind. We have two sets of people, well, probably right, multiple sets of people, groups of people. You have the side that was happy that that happened to him, and then you have the side that was not happy.
Correct.
And they were upset that that was happening to him. And that the prosecutor even brought the case for him to be prosecuted. So it's two sides of the
And
fence
what's
here.
the lady's name? Stormy something?
Yes.
She
Yeah.
had to put some stuff on him too, or some crap.
Yeah. All of
He
these
probably
things.
was mad about she came up there for him for that too.
Yeah, and it's another thing too. Like for instance, I had a friend that was in a police car, and I asked him, "What's up, man?" He says, "Well, I didn't do it." He says, "Some lady down the street at the store said that it was him." Well, it wasn't him, but yet he was in the police car. So that anxiety fell over me too. Is that law enforcement has an opportunity to do things to you, maybe with not enough probable cause to do it, but just because they can.
Authority.
So there's an
Yeah.
anxiety there. So when you're
Authority.
dealing with that authority, is that what you just like you say? The best thing is to know a little bit about the law. Sometimes it's really good to say words that reflect that you know something about the law.
Right.
What would be one
Yeah.
of them?
Well,
What did I do? Yeah. What?
Then I would say, there's a reason that you want to pull me over. What's the reason you pulled me over?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, is this like a racial moment that we're having or something? I mean,
Well, I think the kid
I'm
wants
all
to,
in this different direction here. I'm all out here in Cuyahoga County. I'm the only black woman, long black hair or something like that. And why you pull me over? This one here just passed me speeding, but you didn't say anything to her. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand exactly.
That's cruel. I'd be angry about that.
But you have a right to be.
And see, I keep my camera on the
Yeah.
dash too, make sure.
There's another anxiety is that the fact that you have a camera. And I think that's one of the tools that's necessary at times.
Yes, yeah.
See, one of the things that we don't realize when it comes to police interactions is most of these interactions are militarily minded. These are military tactics that the police are using. They're not getting this off of Captain Kangaroo.
Okay.
This
Or
is
the
not
Captain
Mr.
Crunch
Rogers.
Box.
Okay. I ask you, how are you today in the neighborhood? No,
That's the
this is a
Rice
military
Krispies.
thing. So it's always good to say, sir.
Yeah.
Because at the point when you say sir, you're giving them jurisdiction and you're giving them authority. And then that's really kind of what takes place here is
That's
that
what
you're
they're
being
used to.
yeah, well, they're in a position of authority and you need to realize that. I think that kind of sense that once you don't acknowledge that fact, then you're going to fall into the trap of ending up in jail. Because you're going to not understand that his job is to be authoritarian
Denominated.
over you. Okay, so that's one of the things we need to look out for.
Well, when I asked some of these people, I asked the 50-year-olds, some 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, stuff like that, and some 20-year-olds, male and female. They all were like it's racial.
Okay,
reason why
but
they
you have to
were
realize
pulled
that
over. And then
more
they're
whites
scared.
get
They're
pulled
very
over.
Scared too.
More whites get pulled over than blacks. More whites go to jail than blacks.
You think so?
More whites are killed by police than blacks.
Yeah, really?
It really. We're only
check
we're
it
only
out.
like 10% of this country, and we
Okay.
don't get me wrong.
Okay.
There are uncertainties in this, and there's certain things that happen that shouldn't happen
True.
on a pretty constant basis. But for the most part, we all are facing an anxiety when it comes to the police department. One way or another, white, black, rich, poor. Well, I'm not sure. Well, I'm not saying you're rich.
I am
so
not.
Let me ask you.
I am not.
Uh-oh.
Let me ask you this, because you
Come on,
hold it
Nessa.
like Nolan. When they pull you kind of people, rich people over, is there like a privilege thing that happens with you where you don't have any type of anxiety at all? You really want to just like kick it? Let me see your gun, officer.
No.
Wow.
No, it isn't. I don't have. I guess it depends on the person. I don't have any anxiety. Like I know that they're just doing their job.
Boy, you got a lot of police friends, don't you?
Yes, she do.
They love you.
Yes, she do.
Okay, so we're going to go over some of the things that you can do that'll help you in these anxieties. For one thing, the only thing you have to fear is fear. The only thing you have to fear is the fact that fear can take over you, and you need to watch out for that. You need to block fear. That's what your biggest fear is. Because once you let fear get into you, you're not going to respect authority. You're going to make decisions that are bad. You're going to seem like you don't know where you're going. You're not going to look at the description that you are, which is the description that they're reading you by, and you're going to talk out of your description. And so that puts you in another frame with the cop. You may even tell him something that he knows is not true, and you tell him that it is. So now you've insulted his intelligence. So see, that fear can make you do a lot of things. Fear can make a person jump off a building. Yeah. Fear can make a man jump out of some woman's window with no clothes on the 5th floor. I hate to say it.
Oh, wow.
Fear rules the world. No. Just to put shed a little light on it. That's all. But so there's a few things we can do. Check your mood, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. When the cops pull you over,
it's so hard though, cause when you hear that light behind you and
right.
stuff, you know, like that, and just like, oh wow, what did I do? Oh snap, you know.
Okay,
like,
first of all, block that fear.
Another dimension
At that
right
point,
there.
you block that fear, right? Because if you don't, you're going to go into another dimension, and that dimension is going to be what? What mood is that dimension going to drop you off into?
Anger and panic. Those two, yeah. A person.
Scared.
Bribery.
Yeah.
Don't say bribery. They better not bribe a cop. I'm trying to bribe someone.
Yeah. Okay. But that's it. You want to check that mood because you don't want it to be. You don't want to sacrifice yourself because of your mood. You'll throw your own self on the grill.
Right.
Okay. So you want to talk to the officer reflecting your description. In other words, if you're a woman, you want to talk to him like you're a woman. You wouldn't want to talk to the policeman like you're a man or that you have more authority because you're a woman. So you want to break that down and you want to talk to the policeman following what your description is. Look at yourself. You know what you got on. You know what you look like. You know what your hair looks like. You know what your clothes look like. That's how you want to talk to the officer. If you got on a suit, talk intelligent. If you got on jeans, talk to him casual. So it's either going to be this or that. Okay, so you want to monitor the vibration between you and the officer. That's very important. You follow what I mean? Even if they're your friends, you want to monitor the vibration going on between them.
You want to be, may I add something?
What?
May I add?
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to be calm, cool, and collective going into a situation.
Yes. And I kind of sense that
into an interaction.
Yes. And if you have any type of spiritual background or religious background, usually when the cop walks up to your car, be in the middle of saying a prayer. Let people know that you are God's people. Mm-hmm. Let them know that you're not out here to, you're not a disruptive person. Be saying a prayer when he comes to the car. And it sounds kind of flaky but that's checking your vibration in. That's giving the officer an opportunity to see you as a person, as a human being, as one of God's people. Okay, so you may want to.
I was just maybe saying nothing but just not being irate.
So let's cut. We have to move a little faster. So now we want to ask the officer to repeat themselves. That way, you stop miscommunication. You're going to break the miscommunication line. You can't say, I don't know what you said, because you got the officer to repeat himself every time. It's also good to have some gum. Get some chewing gum. Chew some gum. That helps. So real quick, I'd like to say, since Xavier is out, I have to say, move out of the way here. Okay? So for your hard work, sacrifice, and dedication, you deserve the best for your car. I trust Don at Touch Above Auto, 2530 Hamilton Avenue. There, your car will get great service and professional care. Ask about their weekly, monthly specials where fair pricing is on sale. For more information, call and ask for Don. His number, 216-862-1841. Tell them Mr. Lucky sent you. Real quick, one of the last ones is to know a little bit about the neighborhood that you're stopped in. Know and speak legal language, like what is your probable cause, sir? What are you pulling me over for? They are supposed to give you that information. Real quick, another one, anxiety is feeling of not being right and being persecuted. A lot of people feel that the police are there to persecute them. Some people say because they're black, but they feel that there's a specific reason that the police knows them personally and is there to persecute them. That's wrong. That's not right. So is there anything you guys want to say? Want to say something before we want to give a shout out to your sister or brother or one of the officers that you know?
Blood. We love you. Thank you for having us so much. We really appreciate that.
I'd like to say something too. Thank you, KAZ, for allowing this group of people to come in and do a podcast. And we like all you people out there. You know, it's about voices, and you know, we don't want to overshadow other voices. I think all voices are good to be heard. I think from the biggest to the smallest. And so, you know, I thank you for accepting the voices that you're hearing in this podcast from us. And we're going to come back and we're going to give you more, and we're going to make sure that you understand that you know what we do, okay?
Following the signs.
Following the
Signs.
signs, that's right. We're going to give you information, and we're going to show you how to use this information, how to make your community, and how to make yourself safer in your community. And that's what it's all about. So again, I want to thank you from Miss Benita Armistead
Good night, everyone.
and Miss
night, everyone.
Anessa Hopkins. We've had a great time today, and we've shared a lot of information about the policemen. You might not have gotten it all, but if you keep sticking and following the signs, you're going to get more and more every time. Next week, we want to talk about something Miss Hopkins like to talk about, and that is, what's that, Miss Hopkins?
I'm not sure. I have a lot of topics.
She wants to talk about
Yeah,
noise.
brain
She wants to
fart.
talk about the
Okay.
sounds in noise. So again, we want to say thank you and come back and see us sometime
Good night,
again
Fly.
next
Good
week.
night.
BBLOT.
Thank you.